welcome John Lee Dumas. It's an honor to have the #1 podcaster in the world here.
Well, I am honored to be here. I am fired up and I'm prepared to ignite, Eric.
Awesomeness. Yeah, thank you so much. I saw your timeline. You've got this vertical timeline on your website and it's just freaking fun. I do have to hit 1 or 2 points if you don't mind.
Sure.
So 2012, hired Jamie Masters, podcast mentor. 2012, around September, launched the podcast. 2013, first 10,000 listeners in a single day in March. 2013, 1 million listens all time. Then we go to September 2013, hired Lewis Hose as a mentor. Then around December 2013, first 100K net income month. 2014, awarded Best of iTunes 2013. And then around July, the first 200,000 net revenue month. So I'm sure everybody in podcast land is now salivating and chomping at the bit. First of all, congratulations. That is meteoric.
Well, listen, I appreciate it. I really enjoyed the ride, and it might sound like, only good things happen because that's usually what people do on timelines. I had some great ups. I've had some great downs. I've had some great successes. I've had some incredible failures. And here we are in 2020 having a great conversation.
Yeah. That's what I love about podcasting. But when I saw this, I thought, okay, man, I have been trying to get a mentor for a long time. So now I'm doing a mastermind. But what about you? How important is it to get a mentor? What if you can't get one? And what are the options, maybe the differences between coaches, mentors, etc.?
Well, what I want to mostly talk about is the key when it comes to looking and finding and then identifying the right mentor. The right mentor is this. It is somebody who is currently where you want to be. So if you cannot look at that mentor from afar and say, you know what, that person is exactly where I want to be in the near or semi-near future, it's not the right mentor for you. Guess what? When I wanted to launch my podcast, even if he had been willing, Tony Robbins would not have been the right mentor for me in no way, shape, nor form, because he didn't know how to create and launch a podcast. So guess what? I was looking for somebody that knew how to create and launch a podcast, and that was Jamie Masters, because she had created and launched a successful podcast. So that's just kind of what I wanted to break in with, how to find the right mentor, how to identify the right mentor, and then lock him down and learn from that mentor.
Awesome. And what about if you can't find one? What about coaching and masterminds and stuff? You have any experience with those?
I do. And, that's the great thing is that a lot of coaches that or mentors, that may be out of your financial bracket offer masterminds, where it's more of like a group coaching. So, they're able to take maybe 5 or 10 or sometimes 20 or 50 people and kind of give a more broad overview mentorship and guidance and support than that one-on-one mentorship or that one-on-one coaching. So I think you can't go wrong either way. In fact, when I hired Jamie Masters, I also joined Cliff Ravenscraft's podcast mastermind. That was 10 people, and we were all at different stages in our podcasting game. And Cliff was the guide. He was guiding us in that podcasting journey. So that was just a really critical step in my process, was to hire the right one-on-one coach, the right mentor, Jamie Masters, and then join the right mastermind, that group coaching aspect of Cliff Ravenscraft.
Awesome. Yeah. I know one of your favorite techniques is batching, but besides that, where do you get the energy from?
Because I don't batch every single day. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my God, John Lee Dumas is the hardest working person in podcasting because I did a daily podcast for 5.5 years. But guess what? I was the hardest working person in podcasting 1 day per week. But then the other 6 days, I might have been the least hardworking person in podcasting because I didn't have to do anything because I did it all on one day. So I woke up and said, today is my Super Bowl. I have 8 interviews today. I'm going to go all out. I got a good night's sleep the night before. I cleared my schedule. I was rested. I was ready to go. And I just showed up and delivered for 8 consecutive episodes. By the way, right now, I'm batching my interviews on other shows. You are show number 12 of 15 episodes that I'm doing today. And I don't do this but once a month. So if I did this 3 or 4 times per week, I would get exhausted and I would get burnt out, but I do it 1 day per month. So I woke up this morning and I said, today is my Super Bowl. And I went and I conquered it.
That's a cool technique or method. Do you get a lot of this discipline and hardcore stuff from your military background, or is it just
Definitely
you?
helped. I mean, listen, I was an officer in the U.S. Army for 8 years, 4 active, 4 in the reserves. I was a tank commander in charge of 4 tanks and 16 men during my 13-month tour of duty in Iraq. And guess what? You need to have discipline. You need to have focus. You need to follow a strategic plan when it comes to that level of life and death. And so that was really pounded into me at a young age, the value of doing just that. So absolutely, the Army in that specific area was very helpful.
So were you a tank commander, sitting at the top in the turret, like the M1 Abrams?
Yes, that was me. M1A1 Abrams. I was there at the top of the turret, not only in the tank commander of my tank, but of the other 3 tanks in my platoon.
Wow, that is so cool. I can imagine you on the turret, all picturesque like that. With, what is it, 105 millimeter smoothbore gun?
So the tank commander actually has a 50 cal, and then the loader next to me has a 244.
200. Wait a minute. How many millimeters is that?
I don't know. It's been
the main
been
gun.
too long. No. The main gun is that's the one that's shooting the sabot rounds.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the like we both have the machine guns. Like I had the 50 cal, my loader had the 244, and then the main bore, were sabot rounds, fire rounds, and all that jazz.
Yeah. Cool. So tell us about the time. I was listening to you in one of your many Tony Robbins podcasts, so I forgot which one. But you were in Iraq, a young lieutenant searching for the perfect plan, and then the staff sergeant pulled you over. And what happened?
So it was actually a night fight. So we were in a night fight. We were, going in, infiltrating Fallujah and trying to lock down that city. And, I had my platoon of soldiers, and there I was trying to be General Patton and come up with the plan that was going to win the war. But, bullets are flying, bombs are dropping, mortar rounds are happening. And I just wasn't making any decision because I was trying to come up with the best decision. And so my platoon sergeant grabbed me and threw me up against the wall and said, Lieutenant, a good decision now is better than a great decision later. And I realized that, man, I may not be alive to make, the great decision that I'm trying to make if I just stand here and think. So that's kind of how I approach entrepreneurship too. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to get everyone right. I'm going to make some mistakes, but I'm going to make a good decision now, the best decision that I can make with all the information in front of me now. And I'm not just going to procrastinate and try to make that quote unquote great decision later. And so that's just been my MO, my modus operandum, as I have just focused on making good decisions now.
Well, I think, thank you for your service. You drove an M1 Abrams through Fallujah and kicked ass, I know for sure.
Yeah, we did.
And I think you drove an M1 Abrams through the podcast sphere too, which is really cool, man.
That's a good analogy, Eric. It really is.
I'm full of them, man. You got to come to another podcast. So I respect your time. I know you only have a couple minutes left. So I'm going to just skip around in the questions if you don't mind. Okay, you have to start all over again. You got a laptop and internet. What do you do?
Especially in the world today, I say, how can I build a location independent business? And I sit there and I say, what right now, this moment in time, am I passionate about? What am I curious about? What am I excited by? And I look at those things and I say, okay, which one of these things do I want to go all in on? And, and all in means I'm going to go all in and see if this works, to see if I can get some traction and some momentum on this. So I'm going to take that thing that I'm excited about, that I'm passionate about, that I'm curious about, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to craft the avatar, the perfect person that's going to be consuming the content around this topic. And then I'm going to also write out what are that individual's biggest struggles, biggest obstacles, biggest challenges, and then all the things that I produce, all the content that I make are going to be solutions to that problem. That's going to be the focus. That's what I do.
That's cool. That's I've heard of this avatar a lot. I've done it, but back to you, my friend. You're stuck in North Korea and can only choose 2 podcasts. Which ones do you choose?
North Korea.
Yeah,
Yikes,
a
I guess.
bandwidth problem,
Yeah, bandwidth problem. I guess I got to kind of keep that hidden because it would probably get confiscated as soon as it was seen. I would listen to Hardcore History. Like, I love that show by Dan Carlin. So that would be the very entertaining show that I would listen to. And then I would listen to this podcast called Business Wars by Wondery, where they talk about the biggest business brands and the battles that they went under, like Ford versus Chrysler, or Netflix versus Amazon, or Starbucks versus Dunkin' Donuts.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I never heard of those. I'm going to check those out. All right, back to the Blitz questions. What's your number one way to build a podcast audience or subscribers when you know?
By knowing and understanding the fact that podcast listeners listen to podcasts. So why am I doing 15 podcasts on other shows today? A lot of people are like, that's crazy. You're spending so much time on other people's platforms. Yes, because guess what? Everybody hearing my voice right now is listening to a podcast. And guess what? Podcast listeners listen to podcasts. It sounds simple, but it's true. And now if they like what I'm saying, if they enjoy the value that I'm bringing, they're probably going to go listen to Entrepreneurs on Fire as one of their podcasts. Mm-hmm. So guess what? That's how I grow my podcast audience.
Awesome. And what is your number one way to build your email list?
You need to deliver an amazing solution to people's real problems, and then give them a call to action to go and get that solution by exchanging their email address for that solution. And that's how you can build an email address or an email list brick by brick.
The good old lead magnet, huh?
The old lead magnet.
All right. One more. I think we got time for one more, maybe two. Okay, you had a meteoric, awesome M1 Abrams tour through the podcast space. What would you suggest is a good roadmap for beginners, milestones, or something like that?
Listen, don't get caught up in the numbers. Don't get caught up in the statistics. Just focus on, hey, is my podcast delivering real value, real solutions to my listeners' actual problems? If the answer is yes, then keep doing it and keep focusing on delivering that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Here's another one. Let's see if you can get it right. You're in a Formula One race. You're in third place. You passed the second place car. What place are you?
Second place.
Oh, you got it, man. Right on. You see, you Army guys are top caliber.
What do most people say? I mean,
first place.
Obvious.
They say first place.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I primed you with the Formula One car and then third place, second place, boom, So it's
I'm going to ask Kate that question later and see what she says.
Yeah. It usually works. So be quiet. Shh. All right. What's in your pockets right now?
Nothing. Maybe some lint.
Okay. Direct opposite question, and then I guess we got to go. Finish this question sentence. If I'm elected president of the United States, the first thing I will do is
quit.
Good one. All right, my friend. What's on the horizon for you?
I'm writing a book right now, and it's going to be my first traditionally published book, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. And where can we reach you online, or is there a sign
All
up
the
page
magic happens at eofire.com. And you can, of course, listen to my podcast, Entrepreneurs on Fire.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. And I look forward to talking to you another time.
Thanks, Eric. You're the man. Take care.
Thank you. Okay, my friends, if you like that podcast, then remember to go to zbooks.co and go get all the materials to start your authoring career. We have a 7-day challenge every week, so there's no excuse to not finish your book. And remember, please go to iTunes and upvote this podcast and Google Play. Okay, I look forward to seeing you at the top.